Okay, so I'm just going to go through some of the basics of PowerPoint that kind of took me a little while to figure out when I first got going. Namely, how to get arrows to come into my slideshow at certain times or on click, I should say. So, for example, on this slideshow, I'll just go ahead and start it. Each click adds in a different layer um, onto the slide, so I can illustrate certain points. And this slide, I just inserted some images online, and again, I'm clicking and I'm adding these different arrows. And same here, I did some hand-drawn arrows, and I'm going to go through that real quick on how I went about that. So let me jump into that real fast. So the first thing is this how to get these arrows and different points and text boxes to pop up on click on your screen. I struggled to find this online for some reason, but I finally got it figured out. But it's actually in the animations tab is where you do this. And so I'm just going to open this animations window over here. And as you can see, each point here is numbered, and they're numbered over here. And so if I want to, have this pop up on my first click, that would be ordered number one. I can reorder these any way I want. I can also, like if I wanted number two to actually just come up at the same time as number one, I can just click and I can just select. Um, Let me kind of slow down a little bit. I can select start with previous. So now we've got this arrow is going to pop up at the same time as these points. I don't necessarily want that. I want it on click, so I'm going to make it number two. But I do want this text box to pop up with this arrow, and so I've got it set on previous. Um, Number three is this arrow. I also have this set to pop up with the arrow right here. Number four um, comes up on the fourth click. I got this set at number five. If I wanted it to come up with number four, I just click instead of having on click. I just start with previous, and now it changes over to four, and then five, six. So again, stepping through this one more time: one click, two clicks, three clicks, four clicks, five click. Remember, I left that alone. Six click. Then it moves on to the seventh click, which is the circle I put in there, then on to the next slide. So I think I've gone over that quite a bit, but the next thing I wanted to talk about is how to do these hand-drawn arrows. This is the other thing I kind of struggled with when I first got started. So it's actually really easy. You just go up here and if you want to do like a curved arrow like that, you just select this curve um, option right here, this curved line, and then you just start, every time you click, it adds to the curve, right, like so. And then when you're done, just double click it. Now, if I want to change it, I'm going to format that shape. I'm going to get rid of this animation window over here. So I want it to be red. I want it to be wider. So I'm going to make this wider. And you can flatten out the curve a little bit more if you want. You can add arrow ends. Now it's gonna put the arrow end where you started. So you got, if you want to do an arrow, so let's do that again. So if I want the arrow to be up here, of course I can just rotate that too, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do this so you get the point. Um, so again, I'm gonna change it to, let's change this into yellow. I'm gonna make it a lot wider so you can see it. And then I'm going to put the point on at the end. I don't really like how that sits on there. So if you want to draw a arrowhead end, but I'm pretty sure you can rotate this. Yeah, there we go. So if I were to move that arrow around, I can do that to do whatever it is I'm trying to do. Um, but where was I going with this? So, oh, the other thing is just to draw an arrow tip. So let's go back to this, and we're gonna do something I've seen other people do online, do squirrely arrows. But just to kind of make the point here. So I'm gonna make this in red because it's easier. I'm gonna thicken it out. But I don't want to use these arrowheads, so I'm actually going to draw an arrowhead. So again, just go back to this curve, and so let's make it red again. Let's make it a little brighter. If I want to kind of change the shape of it, just right click on it, edit points. Let's say I want to make that a little wider or a little pointier. I can do that. Um, but that's, and then if I want to move that shape around a little bit, I can do that. Make my arrow however. And then if I want to move, whoops, can't move it around. Well, I can, but um, then I've got to move this around and do whatever it is I want to do with it. But you get the idea. So that's how you draw that stuff out. So, and then again, if I want these to pop up in animation at certain times, along with the text box. So back to animations. I'm going to add in a text box just so you kind of see, let's put a text box over here. Arrow 1. Let's put in, I'm going to copy, paste. So we're going to put arrow, I'm just going to label a few of these arrows, 2 and 3. So if I want to animate these things so it pop up at certain times, I want it to appear. You can do all types of different appearances on there, but I'm just going to do the basic. So I'm going to do that as number 1. I got to make sure that that's also with my arrow because that's part of it. And then I want this to come up as well. So I'm going to pop open this animation tab. See, now right now it's going to be click 1, 2, and 3. But what I want is I want them all to come up at the same time. So I'm going to start with previous. So all these will come up at the same time. And I'm going to show you the difference here in a second. So on this one, let's do appear, and that arrow is all 1. Oops. Yep, there we go. And that's going to be 3. So it's going to be click 1. All this is going to pop up. I think so anyways. Yeah, let's get that arrow out of there so we can, there we go. Kind of separate these a little bit better. Make that a little bit better. And let's put arrow 3 over here. Okay, so this is going to go with this arrow here. So I've got it labeled as number 2, number 3. So it's going to be click 1 is going to do this, and this, which is this arrow here. Click 2 is going to pop open this arrow. Click 3 is going to pop open this text box. Click 4, I'm going to make this there. So I'm going to make these the same. So 4 and 4. And then 5, again, I'm going to go back to, this is all one arrow. I don't have to worry about the arrowhead. So, because it's all one image. Make this all separate. So let's step through the slideshow so you see what I'm talking about. So click 1, click 2, click 3, click 4, click 5, click 6. I can rearrange those however I want. So that is kind of the nutshell of doing all these uh, kind of different funky things in PowerPoint that are, not as easy as just putting in text and those sort of things. This is a little more advanced stuff, but that it's really not that hard once you kind of get the rundown of it. So hopefully that helps.